戦Kaga押して参る
The IJN Akagi and the IJN Kaga, or how every super serious PvPer calls them, Akada, RCVs. You can get them through the Fox Mines. Aka 3. 4. The sister carriers, who aren't really sisters, are PvP focused ships, and grinding them out is a pain in her ass. I'll focus on Akagi in the beginning, and after Akagi, I'll do Kaga. The IJN Akagi was supposed to be a Amagi class battle cruiser, but because of the Washington Naval Treaty, she was rebuilded as an Akagi class aircraft carrier. She was the successor of the Hosho class. She had 28 Mitsubishi B-1M3 torpedo bombers, 16 Nakajima A-1N fighters and 16 Mitsubishi 2 Mr. Reconnaissance aircraft. She joined the combined fleet in August 1927, and assigned to the 1st Carrier Division, or HICSEN. She was the division's flagship under Rear Admiral Sankichi Takahashi. Few months later, Isoroku Yamamoto took over. She was prepared for refit on 1st of December, 1931, and after the refit, she joined the 2nd Carrier Division. On the 15th of November, 1935, Akagi was placed in reserve, and received an extensive modernization. Her hangar and flight deck was extended, and other things were refitted, and she received better aircrafts. The carrier got 12 Mitsubishi A-5M Type 96 Claude fighters, 19 HED-1A Sea dive bombers, and 35 Yokosuka B-4Y horizontal/torpedo bombers. With that, she was ready. She supported operations in central China between March 27th and April 2nd, 1940. She was reclassified as a special purpose ship on the 16th of November, 1940. They formed the 1st Air Fleet, to command every fleet carrier under it. Akagi joined the 1st Carrier Division, alongside with Kaga, as part of the new carrier fleet. The 1st Air Fleet had a few problems, like the lack of fighters, or the poor radio communication with the fighters, and the escort ships wasn't well trained for anti-aircraft support. At the beginning of the Second World War, Akagi's new captain was Kiichi Hasegawa, and fought as the flagship of Vice Admiral Chuchi Nagumo's fleet, and with that, they attacked Pearl Harbor. She torpedoed the USS Oklahoma, West Virginia, and California, and later the dive bombers attacked the USS Maryland, Pennsylvania, Raleigh, Shaw, and the fleet oil in Iyasho. After Pearl Harbor, Akagi and the rest of the 5th Carrier Division supported the invasion of Rabaul. Later, the 1st Carrier Division attacked Allied positions at nearby Cape Dean. With the support of Kaga and Zukaku, sortied in search of American naval forces raiding the Marshall Islands on the 1st of February 1942, before being recalled. The 1st and the 2nd Carrier Division were ordered south to the Timor Sea, where they bombarded the ports of Darwin. They sunk 8 ships. After that, they supported the invasion of Java, and she bombarded Jalak-Jap. In the end, they sunk 8 ships, and after the operation, they went to Staring Bay to refuel and recuperate. On March 26, Akagi and the rest of the 1st Air Fleet went to the Indian Ocean raid. They wanted to destroy the British Eastern Fleet, and their air power for securing the conquest in Burma. She sunk the HMS Cornwall and Dorsetshire. With the help of IJN Hyriuu, they spotted HMS Hermes and HMAS Vampire. Akagi helped sunking both of the ships. On the 19th of April, 1942, Akagi and the 2nd Carrier Division pursued USS Hornet and Biggie, because they launched the Doolittle raid. They dropped the chase, because the American CVs were disappeared. And now, let's skip to Kaga. Although I talked about her in the Kaga BB guide, I'll still want to detail her history. She was laid down as the 2nd Tosa class battleship, but because of the Washington Naval Treaty, they are scheduled to be scrapped. But because IJN Amagi's hull was damaged during the Kanto earthquake, Kaga was selected to be the replacement of Amagi. She was launched on the 17th of November, 1921. She had 28 Mitsubishi B-1M3 torpedo bombers, 16 Nakajima A-1N fighters and 16 Mitsubishi 2 Mr. Reconnaissance aircraft. She was the successor of Akagi. She joined the 1st Carrier Division, or HICSEN, on the 1st of December, 1931, as the flagship of the division, under the command of Rear Admiral Takeyoshi Kato. With IJN Hyriuu, they departed on the 29th of January, 1932, to support Japanese troops during the Shanghai incident. They bombarded Shanghai. On the 20th of October, 1933, she was relegated to reserve status and went to reconstruction. They extended her bow, her 2 flight decks were converted into hangars, and other things were refitted. She got new aircrafts, 16 Nakajima 82N Type 90 fighters, 16 HED-1A Type 94 dive bombers, and 28 Mitsubishi B-2M Type 89 torpedo bombers. Kaga returned to service in 1935 and was assigned to the 2nd Carrier Division. On the 15th of August, 1937, along with IJN Hyriuu and Ryuujao, they took station in the East China Sea as part of the 3rd Fleet, began supporting Japanese military operations along the central China coast around Shanghai and further inland. On the 16th of August, 1937, Kaga's aircraft fought their first battle over Kayangwan. 1 day later, Kaga's aircrafts bombarded Hangzhou without fighter escort, and because of that, 11 of them were shot down by Chinese fighters. On the 26th of September, Kaga went to Sasebo for air provision. She received replacement aircrafts, including 32 Yokosuka B-4Y Type 96 torpedo bombers, 16 HED-1A2 Type 96 dive bombers, and 16 more Type 96 fighters. Kaga returned in October 1937, and she remained in China until December 1938. Kaga supported army operations by attacking enemy railroad bridges, airfields, and transportation vehicles. Kaga entered the shipyard on 15th of December 1938 for modernization and 4 new aircrafts. She got 12 Mitsubishi A-5M fighters, 24 HED-1A dive bombers and 36 Yokosuka B-4Y torpedo bombers. They formed the 1st Air Fleet to command every fleet carrier under it. Kaga joined the 1st Carrier Division, alongside with Akagi, as part of the new fleet. The 1st Air Fleet had a few problems, like the lack of fighters, or the poor radio communication with the fighters, and the escort ships wasn't well trained for anti-aircraft support. In November 1941, the combined fleet, under Isoroku Yamamoto, preparing for Pearl Harbor. During Pearl Harbor, Kaga's planes hit USS Nevada, Oklahoma, Arizona, California, West Virginia and Maryland. After that, she returned to Japan. In January 1942, with the rest of 1st and 5th Carrier Division, they are staging out of Turk in Micronesia. Kaga supported the invasion of Rabaul in the Bismarck Islands. Later, she provided airstrike on Rabaul. The 1st Carrier Division attacked Allied positions at nearby Kavieng. Kaga hit a reef at Paula, which reduced her speed to 18 knots. After temporary repairs, and with the help of the 1st and 2nd Carrier Division, they launched airstrikes against Darwin, and they sunk 8 ships. In March 1942, Kaga supported the invasion of Java, although she only attacked Jalak-Jap. Because the damage that she took in February, because of the reef, she wasn't able to participate in the Indian Ocean raid in April. Because of that, she went to Sasebo, and later, she entered dry dock on March 27th. And now, let's wrap up the history lesson with the Battle of Midway. I'll focus on the key parts. Explaining everything will take up a lot of time. So, in a nutshell, the Americans broke the Japanese code. They know everything about their plan. So, the Japanese had no chance. On the American side, they had the Yorktown class, namely, the USS Yorktown, the USS Enterprise, and the USS Hornet. And they were ready. On the Japanese side, the 1st and the 2nd Carrier Division, namely, the IJN Akagi, IJN Kaga, IJN Hyriuu, and the IJN Hyriuu. They were surprised by the American air attack, because they sent their planes to Midway Islands. After some time, Yorktown was abandoned. And a little bit later, the IJN Hyriuu sunk. Few hours later, IJN Kaga sunk by IJN Hajikase, and almost 9 hours later, IJN Akagi sunk by IJN Arishi, Hajikase, Meikase and Naoki. It's sad that they sunk their own ships, but they had no choice. That was a really brief explanation of the Battle of Midway. Now, look at the stats. I'll talk about Akagi first. She has above average HP, AA, and aviation stats. an average reload, and a worse than average evasion. Now, look at Kaga. She has above average HP, AA, and aviation, an average reload, and a worse than average evasion. Their stats are very similar. They are really good, but there are better ships. Both of them has the same skills. Their first skill is preemptive strike. It decreases the loading time of the first aircraft by 50%. This skill is interesting. In PvE, the skill isn't that good. You can use it, but there are better ships with better skills. Their second skill is first carrier division. When Akagi and Kaga sorted together, their aviation stat increases by 35%. There's a few notable things. First, if you use Akagi with Kaga BB, the first carrier division skill will still proc. And with Kaga BB, Akagi is really good in PvE. Second, if you use Kaga with Akagi-chan, the skill will still proc. Although they have very similar stats, their efficiency is not the same. Akagi has all around 125% efficiency. Kaga on the other hand, has a 110% on fighters and dive bombers, but on torpedo bombers, she has 150%. Their power shows when you use them in PvP. Well, not anymore, but they are still viable in PvP. If you have Kaga BB, Akagi is still useful in PvE, but sadly, Kaga isn't. Overall, they're great waifu material, have great skills, and Akagi with Kaga BB is really good in PvE, but sadly, they're really weak at the moment. The beta changed really hard, and Nagaka is at a really bad state. But, they're still good and viable, but not as good as the other PvP meta fleets. For fighters, take the F6F Hellguts, or if you don't have that, a Seafang is also a good choice. For dive bombers, take the SB2C Helldive, or the BTD-1 Destroyer. For torpedo bombers, you can take the Barracuda, or the TBF Avenger, or the Swordfish 818 Squad. And for Kaga only, because her torpedo bomber efficiency is higher, you can take the HEB-7A Ryusui. Note that these torps are magnetic, so these torps has a 50/50 chance to hit. For auxiliary, steam catapults. That's it. Other gears on CVs are just bad. Now, go out there and show your PvP potential.